Hey, good afternoon. We hope you had a wonderful Christmas with your family and friends. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stacy Spivey with Chad Silber and Monique Robinson.
I feel like we've got the Three's Company vibe going on here today.
Yeah,
The three of us. We're going to have some fun. Thank you for watching the 4 to 5 on air, online, Fire Stick, and Roku. You might have noticed it's a little bit cooler today than it has been. Monique's going to be talking about the forecast in just a minute. But first, we have to get to the big story today. The rush to get coronavirus tests as many return from Christmas vacation.
There are several testing sites across the Triad, plus at-home testing kits. WFMY News 2's Jenna Krzina joins us now live from the StarMed COVID-19 vaccination clinic open at Four Seasons Mall. Jenna, has it been pretty busy?
Yeah, I was here earlier this afternoon and the line has remained steady throughout the day. There are several dozens of cars in two different lines here outside of the mall. This line is right in between the old Outback Steakhouse restaurant and the Dillard store here at the Four Seasons Mall. And like I said, there are dozens of cars lined up. This site is a partnership between StarMed and Guilford County Health Department. This location does both vaccines and COVID-19 testing. Vaccines are being done inside the mall on level 2 of the Dillard store. Testing is drive-through. The hours are Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. You don't have to make an appointment, but you do need to register online at starmed.care. This isn't the only site that is experiencing higher testing volumes. Cone Health is also seeing a rise, but explains the best time to get tested this holiday season.
My recommendation would be to wait until they're symptomatic. And if they do have a confirmed exposure to someone, they need to wait at least 5 to 7 days before getting tested. Because if it's earlier than that 5 days, there is a possibility to get a false negative.
Again, this testing site location is right between the old Outback Steakhouse and the Dillard store here at the mall. The line has been busy pretty much all day, but it has been moving fairly quickly, and there right now is about several dozen cars in line. Now, coming up at 5 and 6, we're going to hear more from some of our local health leaders about the best time to get tested and some of the other testing sites here in the Triad.
Jenna, thank you. We continue to see a rise in our local coronavirus numbers. The percentage of tests coming back positive in Guilford County is definitely increasing. The latest number there at the end the county reported is 10.1%. It's on par with the numbers that we've seen over the past week, which are all more than double the county's goal of 5%. It's important to note the county hasn't reported any data since last Thursday because of the Christmas break, so we'll likely see a lot of new data tomorrow.
If you paid out of pocket for an at-home COVID test, can you be reimbursed for it? Well, that depends on how you got the test in your hands in the first place. Insurance companies are covering COVID testing, and that includes at-home COVID test kits. But the big loophole here, to get reimbursed by your insurance company, you need to have a prescription from your doctor to grab an at-home test from a pharmacy. If you buy the test on your own, most insurance policies won't cover that. However, the upside here, you can use your HSA or FSA to cover the cost.
So that all changes in a couple of days when President Biden's new at-home test giveaway goes into effect. The federal government will give away 500 million free rapid test kits. The government doesn't have the test just yet, but the health department is drawing up an emergency contract. The first delivery is expected in early January. People who want a free kit must sign up on a website that's yet to be activated. We will keep you in the loop.
More positive cases impacted flights as travelers fought to make it back home after the holidays. CBS News' Dina Demetrius takes a look at the delays for thousands because of infections hitting airline staff.
The holiday hustle and bustle is more like a drag.
It's very frustrating, and we have plans already. We have a business to run, stuff like that.
So now Patel's return flight to Kentucky isn't getting off the ground.
It was for 9:24 and got delayed and went to 1 o'clock and all of a sudden got canceled.
The Omicron-driven surge is forcing more flight cancellations with infections among pilots, crew, and airline staff. According to FlightAware, more than 1,000 flights with U.S. destinations were canceled Monday, and more than 3,000 were delayed.
Airlines can't operate flights without the required number of pilots and flight attendants. Safety comes first.
Now several airlines are calling on the CDC to update its COVID guidance for the fully vaccinated and reduce the quarantine isolation period from 10 days to 5 for breakthrough cases.
Honestly, if it's good enough for hospital workers, for nurses and doctors, I think it should be good enough for the airline industry as well.
While the disruption is certainly a hassle, experts say it should resolve itself when the holiday rush dies down.
Once the airlines can stabilize their schedule for the next 5 days, then for the first quarter of 2022, it should be relatively okay.
In the meantime, travel experts advise signing up for text alerts so you'll be notified immediately of any changes to your flight.
Travel restrictions against 8 South African countries will be lifted by Friday. President Biden enacted those restrictions last month. While they don't apply to Americans, they're still required to show proof of a negative test before returning. Since the Omicron outbreak in South Africa, researchers have learned patients face a lower risk of hospitalization. It's not clear whether that'll be the case here. There are still plenty of regulations in place for other international travelers. They're now required to take a test within 1 day of a flight to the U.S. This applies to everyone regardless of vaccination status or nationality. The federal mask mandate in airports is also extended through March 18th.
As cases rise around the U.S., it helps to know if you have COVID, the flu, or just allergies. So let's take a closer look at the differences in symptoms. If you have allergies, you can expect to feel fatigued, have a sore throat, maybe runny nose, mild fever, and you may lose some of your taste and smell. Those symptoms are pretty close to COVID, right? The way to tell the difference between your allergies and COVID is if you have itchy, watery eyes, a stuffy nose, or a low-grade fever below 100 degrees, and you're most likely dealing with allergies. And here's a gross but helpful fact: if you blow your nose and it's clear, it's allergies. Anything else could possibly be a cold or flu.
NC State is changing its coronavirus policies for unvaccinated students and staff. The university will require testing for all unvaccinated faculty, students, and staff, as well as any student living in university housing or the Greek Village, regardless of vaccination status. The university is requiring a test within 72 hours of returning to campus. The university's indoor mask requirement also remains in place. Last week, Duke University updated its procedures for the spring semester. The university revealed remote learning days for the first week of classes next month. It's also requiring all students to get a booster shot once they're eligible.
The Miami Hurricanes withdrew from the Sun Bowl because of COVID protocols. The Hurricanes were set to kick off against Washington State this Friday in El Paso, Texas. Washington State is already in El Paso for the Sun Bowl celebration, leaving time for a replacement opponent to be found. Miami is the 5th team to withdraw from a bowl game this season due to COVID protocols or a lack of players on the roster. Wake Forest University's bowl game was one of those impacted by COVID protocols. Texas A&M had to withdraw due to positive cases in their program. Now Rutgers University says they will rise to the challenge in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. East Carolina's military bowl game was also scrapped against Boston College.
All right, time now to get to your 4 to 5 roundup. First up today, the ACC postponed several basketball games this Wednesday because of the pandemic. Duke's game against Clemson is on hold because of positive cases on the Blue Devils. Meantime, UNC's game against Virginia Tech is postponed because of cases on the Hokies. The ACC says these games will be rescheduled. The Carolina Panthers have added 2 players to their COVID reserve list, now at 13 total players. Defensive end Brian Burns and linebacker Shaq Thompson are now added, along with Marquise Haynes, Phil Hoskins, Davion Nixon, and Matt Paradis. Head coach Matt Rule says this is significant.
Just so that everybody knows, we've had a few positive tests this morning for COVID. So to spur or to stop a spread of an outbreak, obviously with the Zilstra yesterday and Saturday, and then a couple today, we've sent everybody home.
In other Panthers moves, Carolina activated QB Matt Barkley from the COVID reserves list and waived kicker Alex Kessman from the practice squad. Firefighters are making minimal progress on the Lost Cove fire burning near Grandfather Mountain. It's now just 20% contained. Light rain helped firefighters yesterday, and more is expected Wednesday. The fire, first reported on Christmas Eve, is about 350 acres in size. It's not clear what started the fire, but investigators believe it was man-made. Several trails are closed right now, and you can see a full list of those on WFMYnews2.com. A mission more than 2 decades in the making took flight on Christmas Day. NASA launched its most expensive science probe ever, called the James Webb Space Telescope. The $10 billion telescope will attempt to study the earliest stars in the universe. Yesterday, the telescope unfolded an antenna that'll help relay its observations back to Earth.
So yes, the Christmas lights are up, and yes, we just celebrated Christmas Day, but when you walk outside, it doesn't give the 100% winter feel. This is a look at temperatures across the nation, where here in the Triad, we're sitting at 59 degrees currently, but when we look west and to the north and west specifically, do you see these chilling numbers? -4 degrees in Bismarck. That is just simply cold. -12 degrees there as well in the Great Falls. Overall, the warm weather is concentrated down to the south and east, and that's where we're located, but it's expected to stick around for quite a while. And in fact, our radar is going to stay dry through tonight. When I look at this national view, again, looking at the satellite and radar where we generally look at rain or even some other severe weather parameters, when I zoom in closer to the northeast, there is a bit of wintry mix here, and they have some winter weather advisories there. And then when I zoom out and over again to that Pacific Northwest area, and overall just the northwest of the southeast here where we're located, there's even some blizzard warnings concentrated to the North Dakota area, even some winter weather advisories all to the north of us. Now, we're not seeing winter weather yet, but in the 7-day, there is a hint that cold weather will return to the Triad. I have more details on it coming up in my full 7-day.
Monique, thank you. Before we go to break, we want to honor the life and legacy of Martha Earnhardt. The grandmother of driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. died on Christmas. Please keep our family in your thoughts and prayers, and thank you so much for loving our mama as if she were your own. She was not just the matriarch to our family, but she was the matriarch to multiple generations of race fans. Funeral arrangements have not been announced, but of course we'll keep you updated as soon as we learn more. Tomorrow, Come From Away will start showing at the Tanger Center in downtown Greensboro. It's a musical about the people stranded in Gander, Newfoundland on September 11th when American skies were shut down due to terrorist attacks. It's based on real-life events and real people, and one of those women lives right here in the Triad.
I always say we were the lucky ones.
As America was under attack on September 11th, 2001, a small island home to about 10,000 people was soon the center of refuge for thousands of stranded travelers, including Summerfield resident Katya Brown.
We were flying, everything was normal until all of a sudden there was an announcement that they had to do an emergency landing.
Brown was flying back to the States from her hometown in Germany with her 2 babies and best friend. Their trip cut short as talks about terrorist attacks had people in a panic.
We were just trying to keep the babies calm.
Soon they landed in Gander, Newfoundland. This town now trying to figure out what to do with the unexpected visitors.
It took quite a while for them to let us leave the plane, because can you imagine having all these people there from different parts of the world, and America was under attack. So they didn't know if anybody on these planes would actually also be a terrorist and what would happen if they were able to leave the plane.
But amid the chaos came a connection, never to be forgotten. Brown says they soon found comfort in this small community.
People were so amazing. Like I said, the food, we had 3 hot meals a day. They were making eggs and bacon for breakfast. People were asking if they could hold my baby so I can eat in peace.
People even offered up their homes for hot showers. Strangers soon became friends. Brown says she still stays in touch with one of the people she met there. Now the story playing out on stage for the world to see. Come From Away, the musical, tells this story, part of Brown's story. She first saw it in New York City, and now she'll see it again at the Tanger Center.
But I can attest that this was our experience.
She says she hopes this musical is more than just entertainment for the audience, but a way to see how triumph can come from tragedy.
Just remember, even if you don't know somebody, it's just a human being, and they deserve kindness and compassion.
Come From Away is showing at the Tanger Center through Sunday, January 2nd, and tickets are still available. We have all the information on our website. I am so happy I was able to meet her and share her story. So incredible. And I mean, this happened 20 years ago, but she was telling me like as if it happened yesterday.
And I can't imagine seeing a Broadway show that was inspired by the story that you lived through. I mean, that must have been such a surreal experience for her.
I mean, yeah, one of my favorite things she told me that I wasn't able to put in the story was about how these people in the town of Gander really just made these passengers feel like home. There were kids on their way to Disney that had to be diverted to Gander, so the people of Gander dressed up like Disney characters and tried to recreate Disney World. And then the people that were Jewish and needed to have kosher meals and everything, they made sure to make that happen for them. And I just thought that that was so sweet, and how they made this, you know, fun and really sweet story out of this tragedy that happened.
And I honestly, when they first announced the Broadway shows at the Tanger Center, I had never heard of Come From Away, and didn't even know what it was about. And so of course I Googled it and just kind of read the backstory on it. I mean, it's incredible that, and I didn't, because I didn't even know that this story existed. I don't know about you, if you plan on going, but I'm sure it's going to be an incredible show.
Yeah, I would love to see it. She's actually going to go next week with her family. Her daughter, who was a baby when this all happened, is going to see it for the first time.
Wow.
So it should be really cool.
Incredible.
We'll be right back.
Oh, the losses just keep piling up for the Carolina Panthers. The Cardiac Cats lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home yesterday. Cam started the game, but Sam Darnold made his way back onto the field for the first time in 5 weeks. It was a tough break for Darnold when he was sacked by William Goldston. Carolina lost 32-6.
At this point, fans really just aren't surprised anymore. Bo says, embarrassing once again. Becky writes, guess Cam wasn't the cure for them winning after all. Patrick adds, we've got a couple of quarterbacks, but still no protection for them. Jack joked, Tom Brady couldn't win with our offensive line. Steven thinks coach is next to go. Michael says they couldn't win a high school football game. Ouch. Tommy simply said, it's sad. Yeah, Tommy.
Alrighty then, walking outside, it feels a little bit warmer than it should for this time of year, feeling more like the tropics over the last couple of days. Today was a little bit cooler, but still not quite what it should be to end out the year of 2021. It is technically winter, but it certainly doesn't feel like it with afternoon temperatures still in the 50s. 59 currently in Greensboro, 61 in Winston-Salem, and look at that, 63 in Statesville. Raleigh all the way warm up at 64, and if you look down South Pinehurst, 72 degrees. It is December 27th. It definitely shouldn't be this warm in North Carolina. And guess what? All of us were going to say how warm it is by Sunday. The last couple of days, especially, Sunday, last Sunday, 72 degrees. Next Sunday, another 70 on there. Temperatures overall have been just very warm. And you can see they've been on a warming trend. Today, things dropped a little bit cooler. This is a look at the highs. 59 degrees was the high today. You can see all across those southern counties and southern towns from us here in Greensboro in the central North Carolina area are even warmer than us. All of us have been in this pocket of high pressure that's been pumping in the southwesterly flow, giving us these warm tropical feels through a time of year where it shouldn't be this warm. Now, like I said, there's some hints of colder weather, and I promise I'll tell you when it's expected to arrive.
How far would you go to find happiness? Today on U Day, Coach Lamont shares the story of a king who searched for power to be happy.
There's a story of a king who was so miserable and unhappy that he called together all of his closest men and advisors to his court to find a remedy. They tried all sorts of methods to rouse the king out of his deep, dark despair, but to no avail. Finally, one of the advisors suggested that they search the kingdom for the happiest man. For the thought was, if the king could simply put on the man's coat, the happiness would rub off on him, and he too would be happy. The search prevailed in finding the happiest man in the kingdom, but of course, the man they found owned no coat. The happiness sprang from within. Oftentimes, we look for things on the outside, including other people, to make us happy. Happiness is the overflow of the authenticity that lies within. If you are missing a virtue, first search within. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best U Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
What are y'all laughing about in there? Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have you seen The Incredibles?
The Incredibles?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the original.
You haven't seen the new one?
No, I've just seen one.
That's pretty cool.
Hi there, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona.
Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think so too. When I wrote it, that wasn't there. Right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon and happy Monday to you. I am Chad Silver here with Monique Robinson and Stacy Spivey.
We hope that you all had a wonderful Christmas, and it's almost New Year's. I cannot believe that. But thank you so much for joining us here on the 4 to 5 on News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and the News 2 app. We do want to start by getting your 4 to 5 roundup. President Joe Biden has extended the pause on federal student loans until May 1st. Interest rates will remain at 0% during that period, and debt collection will also be suspended. These measures have been in place since early in the pandemic, but were set to expire on January 31st. Money experts say now is the time, though, to prepare for the eventual payments. More than 36 million Americans have federal student loans, totaling more than $1 trillion. Well, you may have noticed prices at the pump have been going down right in time for holiday travel. Greensboro gas prices have fallen 4 cents per gallon in the past week, averaging about $3.04 a gallon. Now that's according to Gas Buddy. The national average also decreasing. Across the nation, drivers are paying about $3.25 a gallon. Even though prices are falling, Gas Buddy says this was the most expensive Christmas day on record for gas prices.
Most times when you walk outside this time of year, it is freezing, and that's not been the case today or the last couple of days. In fact, the current temperature outside in Greensboro is 59 degrees. Those dew points at 48, describing the moisture in the air, meaning when you walk outside, it kind of feels sticky, not that bone dry wintry feel that we were feeling just several weeks ago. This is a look at the sky as of now in Greensboro, downtown Greensboro specifically. The weather is set up, a warm front kind of lifting across our area, allowing for warm air to settle in behind. We have a cold front that's going to kind of linger around the mid-Atlantic region, not necessarily drop across the region. Because of that, it's going to not allow for any cooler temperatures, so keeping us in this very warm pocket of air. Now, as we head towards the weekend, that's when the chance of that wintry cold air does return. So here are your major weather headlines. A warm and cloudy Tuesday, so we're warming back up tomorrow. Rain chance possible Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even on Sunday. But the cold air arrives in 2022, so that New Year's Eve day on Friday, New Year's Day, Saturday, I'm thinking Monday is the time when we finally get those 40s back into the forecast, and maybe going into Tuesday, those overnight lows in the chilly 20s and 30s across the area. So those who like the cold air, those who have been waiting for the cold air, it will be arriving soon. But we have to get through this week of very warm temperatures. Like I said, haven't shown the 7-day yet in this 4 p.m. hour. Hold on tight. I promise I got you before the 4 p.m. hour ends.
Have you heard of Log4j? It's technology that helps keep records of activity on websites. Apparently, there's a new cyber threat impacting this feature. Companies like Amazon, Apple, and Twitter all use this technology.
And because this is used so frequently around the world, once hackers get a foothold into the enterprise, they really have open day within the environment. They've got access to data, they can exfiltrate data. But adversaries, once they have access, they also can do things like deploy ransomware.
Okay, that was all kind of confusing. So basically, once hackers are able to get in, they can steal data and inject viruses, impacting anyone who uses those websites. You've heard us talk about ransomware recently affecting the supply chain, including that attack on the Colonial Pipeline, which spiked gas prices nationwide. Experts say hackers might hit one company, then use that data to target others once they have access to their files.
We also see adversaries targeting software so that they can, by infiltrating companies, exploiting data. When people and companies download and update their software, in some cases, they're actually downloading these backdoors into their environment.
Experts say it is up to corporations to fix this bug, but you can also protect yourself by avoiding clicking links or attachments from senders you don't trust.
When you're shopping on those websites, you may run into another problem that isn't linked to a ransomware attack. Some stores and websites are banning returns. Here's why.
All right, the gifts are unwrapped and the Christmas coma is starting to wear off. So it's time for the next holiday tradition, returning those unwanted presents. But you could find yourself out of luck. So why are some stores banning customers from returning gifts? It turns out a lot of those big stores are tracking returns, and if you return one too many items, you could get banned. The companies use a service called the Retail Equation. It's like a credit bureau for returns. So when you hand over your license at the return desk, your name gets entered into a national database. Retail Equation says it doesn't share customers' profiles with other stores. So too many returns at Best Buy shouldn't get you banned at Sephora. But it won't say how many returns trigger a red flag. And it's not just brick and mortar stores. Amazon has started cracking down on serial returners. All this is probably the best argument yet for why re-gifting should be socially acceptable.
So this is one of my biggest fears about shopping, is getting banned from making returns on Amazon. I've actually gotten to the point where I've called Amazon to find out if my account is at risk and whether how often they ban people. And they say that you really have to be a serial, like a habitual returner, where you're returning things sometimes that are broken or they're not packaged correctly. So, but that's my fear.
Yeah, I just got nervous watching that because a lot of times I'll buy clothes online and obviously if they don't fit, you have to return them. And I do that quite often. So I wonder where that line is drawn.
Right.
Yeah, when I saw the Amazon, I said, oh my goodness, not Amazon. That's the one where I'm always kind of testing the waters and then returning things back. I wonder what the actual number is though. Like, is it 30 items within a year?
I'm sure it has to be a lot, like a lot more than you would think, right?
Right.
For someone
would
to
think
be
so.
flagged, because so many people, like all of us, make a lot of returns off Amazon.
I'm also worried about, porch pirates and how they impact my return status at Amazon. I mean, every once in a while, something disappears from my front porch and it's nowhere to be found, and I report it to Amazon and they quickly send me another one, no questions asked. But at some point, you're going to get cut off.
Yeah. I'm really curious. Now I want to look it up. As soon as I walk out of here, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble.
Right. Well, from making returns to taking down those decorations, we're just 2 days removed from Christmas, so is it time to take them down? Tracy McCain asked her Facebook followers when they're planning to take theirs down or if they already have. Now, as we go through these, let us know your plans in the Facebook chat. First up, Valerie, she says, already done. Cleaning time and New Year's crafts coming. Sarah won't take her Christmas stuff down until February. Kay writes, I don't have a real tree, so I enjoy mine longer. It is so gloomy when you take your decorations down. And Dora's is already down as of yesterday. She says, I love Christmas, but after it's over, it's time to move on. Dana won't take her tree down until after her son's birthday on the 6th. She says it's just become a tradition after he was born. And Connie shares, we always take ours down New Year's Day. So I don't know about you guys, but you know how I avoid this is I just don't decorate. And the only reason I do that is because I always go home to Wisconsin for Christmas. So I'm never actually there, so I don't decorate, so I don't have to take them down.
Well, but like still, I want to feel the season,
Sure.
so we always decorate, but we were always a New Year's Day take down the decorations family. Now this year, I don't know if that's going to happen just because we're going to have to slowly take everything down because you can't get anything done with a 5-month-old, right?
I'm with Chad. I don't generally put up decorations in my apartment. I usually, my family at home, but I like seeing the decorations on for at least a week around other people's homes because it makes you still kind of feel like you're in the spirit of the holidays when you're driving around town, seeing the lights, seeing that. But when people take them down too early, then it's like, okay, I guess it's time to get back to work, time to get back to life.
Yeah, I'm not going to call anyone out. Ben Briscoe takes his down really early.
Stacey, I have a question for you. So
Okay.
does Baylor like to get into the tree and that kind of stuff?
So because she's not fully moving, like crawling yet, she's pretty good about sitting. She can sit up by herself now and just kind of playing with whatever's in front of her. But if you take her up to the tree, she'll definitely grab at ornaments and things. So next year is going to be a challenge.
Yeah, for sure. All right, now let's focus on one specific Christmas decoration. And for that, we need to bring in Ben Briscoe. Hey, Ben.
Hey, so Stacy tried to call me out a second ago, huh? Here's what I'm going to tell you. I do normally wait to take down my Christmas tree, but this year I kind of got the vibe that I wasn't feeling that Christmassy. So maybe I thought about taking it down before Christmas. Stacy talked me out of it. She said that was ludicrous and defeats the whole point, and she's right. What about you guys? I know, Chad, you don't put up a tree, but what about your family? How long do they wait?
So it's been a tradition in our house that you leave the Christmas tree up until all of the needles have fallen off the Christmas tree. So it's usually when you can tell that it's starting to die and maybe become a little flammable, that's when it comes down.
Yeah, my mom she said that they are going to have to keep their tree up longer because we're visiting them a little bit later than we typically would. So she's like, I guess I'm gonna have to keep the Christmas tree up.
I always think after a while they kind of start to smell, so you got to get the thing out of the house. But there actually is a right answer to this, according to Better Homes and Gardens. The best time to take down your tree is January 6th. That is because it marks Epiphany, the holiday when the wise men make it to Bethlehem. So that signifies the end of Christmas officially.
Okay, I did not know this.
So that's like still, what, another 2 weeks about?
Yeah, you got a while longer of enjoying it. Although not everyone's following that. Look at what some folks in Greensboro were doing today. They already started chucking those trees right to the curb.
So my question is, are they still good by January 6th? Like, how long does it take for them to start falling apart?
That is why a lot of people say to wait to buy your trees as long as possible.
Okay.
But You know, you drive around, you see these dying things on the side of the road, and it really makes you wonder if there's a better way. So, enter this new trend, recycled Christmas trees. It is the hottest thing in Christmas decorations this year. And we're not talking about fake trees either. These are real trees you can use year after year. Farmers grow them in pots, and then you rent them for the holidays. So you bring them back home and then take them back to the farm when you're done. That way they can keep growing in bigger pots until next year.
Well, you're keeping a tree alive. There is something that sort of feels a bit morally wrong about watching a tree grow for 10 years to cut it down just for 3 weeks to throw it away.
I get what he's saying there. It makes sense to me. Although I worry about how in the world I'm going to get that thing back to the farm.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole idea, I mean, it's a great concept if people are worried about, you know, buying a tree, cutting it down, only having it for a few weeks in their home. This is great. Unfortunately, I'm very allergic to Christmas trees, so
you won't be doing that?
No, so the fake tree is the way to go in my house. Are these expensive though?
It's about $80 for a year. Although there is a major catch. If you don't keep it alive and you bring it back dead, you got to pay a big, big fee.
There you go.
So you have to have a green thumb if you're going to do this.
So I recently killed a cactus, and so I'm afraid that I literally killed a cactus. So I'm afraid that this would not be for me.
We're going to get you an artificial tree for that apartment.
Yeah,
good.
you need
I appreciate
one.
that.
Yeah, we'll come and decorate next year. How about that?
We'll all do it together. Yes.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back. A recent Wheel of Fortune puzzle caused some controversy over a rule technicality. Charlene Rubish had 10 seconds to figure out the final correct phrase in the category, "What are you doing?" Well, she quickly repeated the first 3 words before pausing as she tried to guess the final word. After a 5-second pause, she said the word just before the buzzer sounded. Most thought she'd won because she guessed before the buzzer, but Pat Sajak said she actually lost. Sajak cited a rule saying the puzzle had to be a continuous guess with a possible short pause but not longer than 4 or 5 seconds, which she did. Then Zajac revealed the prize was an Audi Q3. Well, the internet was not happy with this. One fan wrote, "This is so wrong for them to do this. I have seen in cases before near the same amount of time do the same thing. So what if it's a second or two longer or shorter? What does that matter? The point is you got the right answer in the time she was supposed to." Another argued, "Guys, she paused way too long. You have to say the whole sentence in one swift go. That's how it always worked." One person wrote, "Anyway, it was obvious to millions of people, including Vanna, that she got it." Someone else said, "The show was right to deny the prize. Tough but fair." Well, Audi got involved, saying, "You're a winner in our eyes. Charlene, now let's get you a prize. Time to give her the Q3. Okay, so a spokesperson for Audi said they saw the episode and they were collectively disappointed that she missed out on the opportunity to take home an Audi Q3 due to a technicality. So in the spirit of the holidays, Audi of America will be gifting her with an all-new Audi Q3.
Oh, that's amazing.
I also posted, I was watching this. I don't watch a lot of Wheel of Fortune, but I just happened to be watching that day. When I saw it happen, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that she lost. So of course I tweeted like everybody else does when they're mad about something.
Of course.
Got a little bit of traction, but yeah, I'm glad that Audi stepped in here.
So what was her reaction whenever they said that, you didn't win it?
She was kind of just shocked.
I bet.
Really? And then when he opened, when Pat Sajak opens it and it says you didn't win an Audi Q3. I mean, I think she was kind of shocked.
I don't often watch Wheel of Fortune, so if you lose, they still tell you what you would have won, always. Yeah. That's really embarrassing.
Talk about kicking someone while they're down, right?
Right,
exactly. Right. But, okay, I get what some of the viewers are saying. Yeah, you have to have rules or otherwise everyone wins a prize, but I would think if you said it in the allotted time that you're supposed to, and you said it correctly, you should win. Right. She did it right.
Well, I think Audi did a great job of at least giving her the prize she deserved.
Absolutely.
I mean, Wheel of Fortune has to play by the rules because years from now or next month or whatever, if somebody does the same thing, then they have to say, well, we did it then, so we have to do it. You have to play by the rules, but it was nice that Audi at least stepped in and gave her the prize.
And I mean, what a small price to pay for Audi to give a car away to get the publicity that we're all talking about right now.
Exactly. Right. Smart marketing move. Yeah, and she gets a car. Everybody wins, right?
We'll be right back.
Alrighty then, we're nearing that sunset time and that sun is continuing to escape us. When we look to our skies, there's still abundant cloud cover outside even as of this end of this 4 p.m. hour. High point current temperature 61 degrees, still a little bit muggy out there, but the winds are calm. Looking ahead to the next 5 days, temperatures staying on the warm side. I'm forecasting a high of 70 degrees on Tuesday as well as on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday still in those upper 60s. Now as we go through the day tomorrow, those wind gusts will get a bit breezy at times throughout the day. Let's take a look at the timing of things. As we end out this Monday going into your Tuesday, we're going to start to see these winds coming out of the southwest Tuesday afternoon and fairly breezy, like I said, at times. Some locations gusting up to 25 miles per hour. And then as we start out early Wednesday morning, wee hours of your Wednesday, look at these wind gusts really pushing in from the south and west, roughly around 30 miles per hour in some locations. And then as we end out the Wednesday, they will die down. Just want to show you those rain chances as well as we move through the next couple of days. Wednesday, late Wednesday, chance of rain pushing through Thursday, drier on Friday. Saturday, once again, a strong cold front sets itself up, crosses the area, and Monday, another area of low pressure, another set of fronts pushes its way across the area and then brings us some drier, cooler weather behind it. Here's a look at that full 7-day. Have yet to show it, but there you have it, including that New Year's Eve and New Year's Day forecast. You can see those rain chances return starting Wednesday and stick around through the start of next week, that first full week of 2022. But you can see the numbers cooler. We're trending downward after the weekend.
The Texas lawyer who successfully argued Roe v. Wade has died. You might have heard of Sarah Weddington. Several years after graduating from law school, Weddington and a former classmate brought a class action lawsuit on behalf of a pregnant woman challenging a state law largely banning abortions. Weddington argued the case before the high court twice, resulting in the eventual ruling that legalized abortion nationwide. Weddington's death comes as the Supreme Court is now considering a case over Mississippi's ban on abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The case is one of the most serious challenges to the Roe v. Wade ruling. Weddington was 76 years old. We'll be right back.
Hey, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6. Check check check. Mic check.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3.
Hi, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida.
Hey, getting ready to head in there right now, doing a story about travel problems.
Hey, Brett, mic check, please. Excellent, mic checking. I'm checking the mic. Thanks.
Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Mic check 1 2 1 2 3. Mic check.
Hey, it's time for my 2 cents, and today I'm talking to the guys, all right? So guys, listen up. This is a big deal. What are things that most guys love? Sports cars, and TVs, right? The larger, the better. There's no such thing as too big of a TV. Let's be honest. We want the neighbors to see the glow from inside all the windows from your TV, but think you have a house fire. I mean, that's how big we want it. But we want to see it from space. We want the astronauts at the International Space Station to look down and watch sports with me. Yes, that's what we want. So my wife surprised me for Christmas this year. I opened up a present. It was actually a mount for a TV, and I put 2 and 2 together. And I said, ooh, we're getting a TV, which was delivered today and installed. Take a look. The guys showed up. Yeah, they took down old Bessie, a 12-year-old dumb TV, and put up Princess, a 77-inch OLED smart TV. It's smarter than me. It will probably tell me what to watch, and I will listen because she's that important to me. Yes, it's a she. So here's what's happening with this thing. You look at the old TV. Our TV even had a border on it, for goodness sake. Look at what my 8-year-old said the other day. Why do we have a border around our TV? And then the thickness, like old Bessie, was huge compared to this paper-thin ribbon that Princess is. Now it's up. There it is behind me. I'm reserving the screen for later. I need to save all the time on that screen, no wear and tear. I will probably watch this all night tonight. I may have to send the kids to the relatives, and if I look very tired tomorrow, you'll know why. I had a date with Princess. My wife's okay with this. That's just my 2 cents. So that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
The demand for COVID-19 tests is skyrocketing on the heels of Christmas. Many are returning home from celebrations or preparing for New Year's Eve celebrations.
Health leaders say some testing sites have doubled in appointments since last week. WFMY News 2's Jenna Kurzina joins us now live from the Star Med testing site at Four Seasons Mall. Jenna, how busy has it been?
Well, I've been here off and on all day.